So,
you've been given a call to adventure,
and then the hero has refused.
and you
the
say,
call
"No,
to,
I'm not gonna do it.
Said
Just not gonna do it."
no thanks, Holmes.
And then you got this little thing in your party that says you have to do it.
That is your mentor.
And your mentor has wisdom to share on you. I'm trying to think of good mentors.
Jiminy Cricket.
Well, yeah, he's a good one.
He's like the mentor.
Personification of a mentor.
Yeah.
And
in the original book of Pinocchio, he was the mentor because he wasn't actually there with Pinocchio. He was his conscience because Pinocchio killed him in the first chapter, and he was a ghost.
It was haunting him.
Yeah, dude.
Let your ghost be your guide.
No, I'm not kidding. Needless to say, they cut that out of the Disney
I hope you
version.
take this to your grave, you squiggly wooden effer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They cut that out of the
kind
Disney
of a
one.
dark little... The whole book's dark.
Oh, it's super dark.
So in cinema, we're talking about meeting with the mentor, and we're talking about your refusal to the call and then meeting with the mentor, which leads us up to crossing the threshold.
Yeah.
I think it kind of goes... I think most films we watch, or at least most films that I can think of, have a meeting with the mentor kind of moment.
They all do.
Yeah.
I mean, they should.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I mean, I think so.
A lot of them, essentially the meeting with the mentor,
Yeah.
it's supposed to get, because the hero has already refused the call. They're like, nah, bro, I don't want to die, or, I got things to do.
I got other things to do. Yeah, skateboarding.
So then the meeting with the mentor, regardless of how it happens, needs to kind of re-energize their idea of like, oh, this actually might be cool or beneficial, or like, yes, I want to do that. It needs to be the first step that they take.
Pushing them out the door.
Yeah, into actively wanting to go on the adventure.
To do it.
Yeah, they want to do it.
Shia LaBeouf of your film.
Do it!
Do it! Boy, I cracked myself up.
Well, so
but like, is the mentor always like obvious?
Aha, that's what I would do.
What?
I don't know. I'm literally laughing at my own stupid joke in my head.
Okay.
That wasn't even a joke.
Okay.
But that's that's actually where I wanted to segue was, no, I don't think so. I don't think the mentor is always obvious, because I don't think the mentor is always like what you think. Like, the mentor isn't always Obi-Wan Kenobi, Gandalf, an old wise person who's, you have to do it, it's your destiny.
Who is the mentor in Fellowship?
In Fellowship of the Rings?
Yeah. I mean,
it was Gandalf.
No, it was. It
was
it
Bilbo?
was like when they were in Rivendell, and they're all sitting around, and who will do it?
Yes, sort
Because remember Gandalf sitting back puffing his pipe, and like Frodo starts talking about it, and he's kind of like surprised, and he says something.
Yeah,
under his
it
breath.
does kind of happen late. Like, there's a lot of lead
There's
up.
a lot of stuff that happens before we cross the I mean, really, crossing the threshold is after Rivendell.
It's when he takes the ring finally and says, "Yes, this is my
right. This is my burden to bear."
That's a good point, because you think that it happens a lot earlier.
Yeah.
But that happened pretty late.
Oh yeah.
That was a good 40 minutes in, I feel like.
Who was the head elf? What's his name?
Elrond.
Yeah, Elrond was kind of the mentor in that moment.
Yeah, Elrond Hubbard.
But then there was also the other wizard, the woman of the
that went
forest.
right over you.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a mentor of all kinds.
So,
Scientology.
but it's not always obvious like that, where it's Gandalf,
right,
or something.
Where
like
there's
that.
someone saying like, you have to do this because this is your flag to carry.
Yeah. Because it's not always. I feel like the mentor gets posed as like an old man a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always even need to be a person. I mean, I don't know if this has ever happened, but technically speaking, mentor could be, I mean, if your character in your story gets wisdom from drinking, say, I mean, like
they just get so hallucinated.
yeah, or
like,
something like the
like
bottle of tequila could be their mentor, right? I mean, it could. It's far fetched, but it could be if you wrote it correctly.
He's got a sombrero on. He's like, "Hey, you gotta go find the treasure, man."
Yeah.
He's got bandoliers of bullets on him.
Sure.
You know, he looks like a bandito.
But like Jiminy Cricket is a mentor, but he's little and not old.
Oh yeah, well it's something of knowledge that shares what it knows with you to say it's gonna be okay or it's not gonna be okay if you don't do this. Like you gotta go.
Mentor meeting with the mentor could be like an inspirational thing they read out of a book or saw in a movie. Like they've refused the call and they go and see a movie and what's happening in the movie speaks to them on another like level and he's like, "Oh yeah, I do have to do that."
Like what?
I don't know.
I'm
giving four instances. Those absolutely could be.
Yeah, I mean, do you even have to have a mentor sometimes?
Yeah.
Is the mentor important?
Well, I think
in the hero's journey?
So this, yes, it is, but this is where I think people get, kind of like what I was talking about, like with the ordinary world. I feel like people tend to default to boring. Same thing with meeting with the mentor. I feel like people tend to default to a wise old person or a person in general. I think it's important because if you don't have that moment of an external force kind of giving them the pep talk they needed to take that next step into their journey, then the refusal to the call is kind of useless. Because if they've refused it and there's nothing there
to push them
and just they push themselves, why did they refuse it in the first place? It's kind of unbelievable.
They just don't want to do it.
Like if they're like, "No, I don't want to do that," they walk out the door and they're like, "Actually, no, I kind of do," and they just go right back in.
On second thought,
I'm
back.
That sounded fun, actually.
Yeah,
let me call them back.
I think it does add a certain amount of weight. I think one of the problems that I find hard to avoid with meeting with the mentor is writing too much exposition into your mentor.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're too knowledgeable about the world.
Right.
And like and I feel like especially in modern films, man, like exposition over exposition. And it's like I get it. A whole movie is technically exposition, but
on the nose exposition is different than regular.
Or like telling us things that aren't important at all that we don't need to know. Like, and that's hard. Like, I think as humans, as you know, when we go to write, I think a lot of times our default is to just write pure exposition.
Yeah, totally.
Telling people, "Oh, the world was this way one day. Oh, long, long ago, the world used to operate this way," and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's a lot of times why I think people don't like prequels and people don't like sequels
because nobody asked for it, and it's like it's part of the mystery and the fun of the original film or something.
Like what you talk about with kind of like with Star Wars and problems you have with Star Wars.
With Solo.
Well, Solo, you know, that movie is just all exposition.
That's all it is.
And
bad exposition.
And the problem is there is no mentor. Technically, Solo is our mentor through the whole film.
No, his mentor was that random dude that we never see again who gives him his stupid name.
As they're trying to leave?
Yeah.
Like the office administrator, the guy who's just doing his job. What's your name? I don't have one. Solo it will be. You're flying solo today.
Yeah, great.
Wow.
0 out of 10.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of times...
that is the only Star Wars film I've ever turned off. Could finish it.
I just feel like back to the exposition part of the mentor that, like, a lot of times that they know so much. I don't know. It's hard because, like, you know, you have someone who's giving sage advice or something like that. And it's like, it's good to know. It's good for your character to know what they're getting into and what they're embarking on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't need to be told that the dragon in the 5th layer around the 8th corner will eat you if you look it in the eyes, like, or whatever. Like,
it doesn't need to be expositional like that. And I think you're right. That's the trap we get in a lot. And that's what I was saying about like the default being the old wise man or woman or whatever. It's it gets us in that trap of just defaults. And I mean, I can't recollect one that's done it, used this one off the top of my head, but the mentor could seriously just like be a crazy person who just is uttering absolute garbage, but some strange thing in their ramblings sparks the main character to think, oh no, that is what I'm supposed to do. And you know, then the crazy person's like, oh, what? You know, like, give me a quarter. I don't know. You could use like a fortune teller or a fortune cookie could be your mentor, you know? Like, I did this a lot when I was in, you know, the early writing stages of just like, oh, the mentor, they're a totally separate character and they have to exist as just that. I mean, it could be an object. It could be a fortune cookie. It just has to re-spark the essence of the hero or your protagonist that makes them say, no, I do have to go on that journey or else I'm just stuck back in my old ways.
So you're saying the mentor is just a fleeting moment in the story, that they're not along with the main character the whole time?
No, they can be.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying the default that we tend to think of is like the old wise man has to be the separate character.
Oh, be careful on the journey.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Could be an object. Could be another character that goes with you the whole. That was one that I had a hard time wrapping my head around. Yeah. Was the mentor could be a character that they're already with.
Right.
Like
Training Day, like Denzel Washington in Training Day.
Like Training Day, or like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like
right.
Tuco kind of he is the shapeshifter. He is the side character, and he's also the mentor for Blondie.
Yeah. So mentor as an archetype can travel along with your character, but mentor, meeting with the mentor, it's that pivotal moment when your character decides, they're right.
Right.
I have to do something here.
Yeah, totally. Because if you don't have it, it makes their refusal very dead.
You know, if you look at Gladiator, meeting with the mentor is when Marcus Aurelius meets with, what's that his name? Mm-hmm. Maximus. Marcus Aurelius is the emperor. When Maximus meets with the emperor, and he's meeting with his mentor, he has his refusal to the call there, as well, because he knows his son is twisted and wicked, and nothing good will come to Rome while his son's in power.
Right.
And that's why he wants Maximus to become the emperor. And obviously his son doesn't want that. And Maximus is like, no, I don't want that either, right? And I mean, kind of like meeting with the mentor. Does he meet with his brother? Or with the son? He does, doesn't? After the emperor dies?
Yeah.
He also meets with the daughter, and she's kind of the mentor figure in that moment, like meeting of the mentor kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then he gets arrested, and he's taken out to that forest to be executed, and that's kind of crossing the threshold moment in Gladiator.
Right. I mean, that's an interesting one. Your mentor could be the villain also.
Oh, for sure. Like, they're the presentation of evil.
Right.
Ra's al Ghul, he's a good one in Batman.
Yep.
Was that Batman the Beginning or whatever it's
Batman
called?
Begins.
Batman Begins.
Yep.
Yeah, that he's a good one, right? Because
he's kind of all the. Ra's al Ghul is not just the villain,
right?
Ultimately, but he does help Bruce Wayne through a lot of the pivotal moments.
Well, and until he presents himself as Ra's al Ghul, well, he doesn't do that until the end of the film, but he's presenting himself, Liam Neeson is presenting himself as the trainer, the mentor, like you need to understand how the League of Shadows works and blah, 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 and what it is we do.
Right.
And Ra's al Ghul is our master and blah, 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 and we all work in the shadows kind of a thing. And it was all artifice. And he was a shadow villain
Yeah, which is cool.
And he goes away. He disappears from the film. Bruce Wayne returns. He shows back up, does his Batman thing, and then Ra's al Ghul shows up at the last, in the third act of the film.
Right.
And yeah, it's pretty cool, the way they present that. And Liam Neeson's character, or Liam Neeson, was Ra's al Ghul the whole time.
Right.
Interesting. And he saved him. Batman saved him, which is pretty cool.
Right.
But then Batman's crossing the threshold. It's very evident when he decides to blow up the society of the League of Shadows and say, nope, what you stand for is vengeance.
Right.
You don't stand for justice.
Whereas the one in Dark Knight with Joker is a little more obvious. It's a little bit more of the default mentor. It's Alfred when he's telling him, some men just want to watch the world burn.
Right.
But that's one of those films where it's okay. Alfred is one of the quintessential mentors.
Absolutely.
Alfred, Merlin, Gandalf, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Right. They're like the head honcho mentor.
They all have white hair.
Yeah. They're all old dudes.
What the heck, man? Talk about cliche.
Right.
It's interesting. Yeah, can you have a mentor that doesn't have a lot of knowledge?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, it could be a crazy person.
Right.
Could be an object.
Yeah, it could even be the main character, or not the main character, but the central theme around the film, or the main person that the film revolves around. Like, Fifth Element, she was kind of a mentor. I don't know if she was the actual mentor in that film, but like,
well, no,
she kind of gave the moral argument of why she needs to protect her.
She had that, but he did actually go and meet with the guy who tasked him with the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But that's actually an interesting case, because Dallas took it upon himself to enter in. He did meet with the mentor, but that guy was going to originally take on the task of taking the Fifth Element to where she needed to go.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, your job's done. Thank you. Get out of here. And he forced his way back in.
Yeah.
And stole the dude's identity and ran off with the Fifth Element. So, like, yes, he met with the mentor, but we'll get into crossing the threshold in the next one, but he decided, no, I'm going to take it on. And then the old dude was mad.
Yeah.
So that's actually kind of an interesting one.
The mentor role, especially when you're writing a screenplay, is difficult. Like, I find it difficult because, like, sometimes I just kind of don't think about him as a character. I don't think about him at all in the story arc. I'm just kind of like, okay, we have a refusal, and then we're like, because, like, technically
refusal and then crossing the threshold.
The Western,
right into it.
The Western we're writing right now, the mentor is technically a bad guy.
And
not to give it away, but he's not like the main bad guy, but he is a bad guy.
Yeah, and he can be, and I think that's cool.
But he's the one that imparts knowledge on our character that, look, don't go asking questions, just do what you're told.
Right.
Just don't worry about it, and then that sparks interest.
Right.
And there's actually, and maybe this is bad, I don't know, but having, like, well, no, he is the predominant mentor, but also one of our lead protagonists kind of as a mentor a little bit.
Yeah.
She at least gives him a little bit of a nudge in the right direction.
Well, I feel like that's good too, because you don't just have to have one mentor.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you can have several mentor type characters. Like, okay, take Star Wars for example.
Reservoir Dogs. That
whole
opening sequence of them talking at the table is mentor talk. But
like in Star Wars.
Okay.
Obi-Wan is his main mentor.
Sure.
Right? Or let's do Lion King.
Yeah, let's not do
because
Star Wars.
I do Star Wars all the time.
Luke sucks.
Lion King. Simba's dad is the mentor. He's like the mentor a lot of the times. But so is Rafiki. But so are Timon and Pumbaa. And so is Zazu.
Yeah, but they're mentor archetypes.
Right.
They aren't mentor meeting with the mentor stage.
But what I'm saying is any one of those characters could have been the meeting with the mentor stage.
Well, no, they couldn't have, because
it depends
Simba didn't know them until after he ran away.
Right.
So they couldn't have been.
But who was the main meeting with the mentor? It was Rafiki.
No, it was Mufasa.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Rafiki was the one who
we
told
didn't meet
him
Rafiki until the midpoint of the second act.
Yeah, no, but when he was older, Rafiki was the one who saw him, and he's like, "Oh no, you do."
But
have
that's
to
not
claim
meeting. That's an archetype. That's not the meeting
okay.
of the mentor before crossing the threshold.
I haven't seen Lion King in a while, so
well,
it was when
when Simba's
Mufasa
born.
showed up and
Simba's born.
Yeah.
Scar's upset. He didn't come to his first birthday. We learn that Simba's older. Simba banters around with with Scar. Then, Scar has this plot to kill Mufasa.
Right.
By using Simba. And then, technically, Scar was probably the mentor in the structure of the film because, run Simba far, far away and never return, right?
I think that was part of the inciting incident. Because the mentor was when Mufasa showed back up to him in the clouds and he said, "This is your destiny."
Yeah, but that was too late. So from a standard story, like Hero's Journey perspective, we got to rewatch Lion King and break it down. I don't want to do that. That sounds boring.
No.
Next time I watch it with the kids, I'll do that. I'll
okay.
see if I can pick it up.
Come back and tell me.
Yeah, because Zazu, if anything, Zazu is more the mentor. One day you're going to be king. I don't want to be king.
Yeah, right.
Technically, okay, that's refusal of the call right there.
Right.
And meeting with the mentor.
Well, but then he does go and meet with Scar. I mean, that is a case where the villain might be also the mentor, which is totally fine.
I don't know. I think Zazu's the mentor.
There's a lot of mentors
You
in
two
that
are
movie.
to be betrothed. No, we're not going to get married.
There's so many mentors in that
And then
film.
they sing, I just can't wait to be king.
Yeah. And that stage is so damn hard in the Super Nintendo game.
Oh, yeah.
That is a controller-breaking game.
Oh, that's a segue. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's difficult. So, I don't know. Meeting with the mentor. We need to wrap it up.
I mean, really, that's it. Okay. That's it.
So you come from your refusal of the call, and your character needs something to get them to actually start their journey because they're stubborn, and they need something of reason that they can connect with, and that is presented through the meeting with the mentor. The mentor gives them a piece of advice that clicks the switch that says, you know what, you're right. I have to do something. Yeah. And without that, you're missing a point in your story because, like you said, then your character is just like, no, I'm not going to do it. On the other hand, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah, JK, I'm just going to do it.
It wasn't that big of a deal.
So anyways, that's it for today's Real Talk, talking about meeting with a mentor. Hopefully we gave you a couple good ideas on how to not just use the default.
Probably didn't.
Well, that's so optimistic. So if you want to support this channel or see more content like this, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.